Hello and welcome to the super full moon video. And the super full moon will be happening on the 14th of June. This is a collective message for us all. Okay, so it's a super full moon. What does that mean? It's going to be basically magnified. How we see the moon, we'll be seeing it, a bit bigger. And that means it impacts us in a more intense way, where it means a lot of energy that's been built up within us over the past coming months, we are going to release, right? And that's the thing about it, when the moon is seemingly bigger to us and magnified and it's intense, it's a super moon, our feelings within us also become magnified and intense. And if there's anything you've been suppressing, this is where it all comes out. It's a big purge, it's a big release, it's a big feeling your feelings, getting deep within them, and that can feel uncomfortable. And when we are talking about feelings, it can be sadness, it can be feeling overwhelmed, it can feel frustration over everything that has happened, it has come to pass, and we are now releasing it, we are clearing it out of us, and that's a beautiful part of it. There's a lot of beautiful aspects with this full moon, and there are also some aspects that are challenging with this super full moon. And we can expect it, given that it's a super full moon. So first things first, the sun is in Gemini. The super full moon is happening in Sagittarius. We want to communicate, we're expanding in our thoughts, what we are thinking, communication. The sun and moon are opposite each other, and this is where we are thinking and wanting to communicate, wanting to express ourselves, wanting to get our words out, wanting to see the logic in things. And Sagittarius is our higher mind, hope, expansion, growth, opportunities. Both signs rule travel in different ways. Gemini is your immediate environment travel, right? If you think about your environment, bicycle rides, car rides. And Sagittarius is long distance travel. They both rule these aspects of life, of movement, change, all of those energies. And there are changes that are coming through for all of us during this time. Now, Saturn is in harmony with both the sun and the moon, right? It's trining the sun. Both are air signs. Saturn is in retrograde in Aquarius, trining the Gemini sun, and in a harmonious sextile to the super full moon in Sagittarius. This is beautiful energy. This is, Saturn rules our physical structured environment. The structures in our life, the 3D life, how things are, physically how they are. And it's basically showing us that all the changes we've been going through with Saturn, because Saturn has been squaring Uranus and Taurus, right? So all the changes to our lives, our values, our work, everything within our lives, the changes we've been going through, our physical comforts, our home, every single thing. This energy is absolutely making a way forward. That you see the changes now and you remain hopeful. With Sagittarius, you can actually implement them. You are thinking about them. You want to communicate them. You want to expand on a new way. And it's definitely a new way, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Aries. Aries is the first zodiac, a new and fresh road ahead. Opportunities lie in new beginnings, a fresh start. So things have been changing in your physical world with Saturn already, and now you can actually start looking at the new way that you want to move forward. You're thinking about it, you want to express yourself, you want to communicate it. The Sagittarius energy is a fire energy. It's giving you the passion, the drive, the hope, the energy to feel hopeful. I can do this. That's the one thing about Sagittarius. It's optimism, it's hopeful, it's adventure. It sees a new way forward and sees an adventure. It's less fearful of it, right? It welcomes a change and trying something new and having a new experience, and it enjoys the experience of life, because through experience we gain wisdom, and that's what Sagittarius is. That's why it's our higher mind, whereas Gemini rules the facts, the information, seeing things around you, communicating it. Seeing things around you in your environment and communicating and expressing it and having the ideas, the thoughts, all of those things. And Sagittarius is the hope, the expansion of that. So that's a beautiful energy where it brings in this harmonious aspect with Saturn, so that we can physically do these things. We can physically see the structures, remain hopeful, have new ideas, and expand upon it. Now Mars is in Aries. This can give us courage. right? Especially. But it can also make us irritable, impatient, wanting to see things move along much quicker, especially because it is conjunct Chiron, which is also an Aries. And Chiron is the wounded healer. And this is about our wounds. And these are also surfacing. The wounds of self, blaming oneself, thinking we could have done better in the past, and, going through the feelings of the past of what could I have done, what could I have changed. And we can become hard with Mars, because Mars is the god of war in Aries. It's at home. Aries is ruled by Mars. It can really be forceful. And it's important to remember now, everyone is feeling these feelings, so avoid the conflict. And I know I mention that often about avoiding conflict in these experiences, because these planetary movements, as above, so below, impact us in such a way that we all are connected and feel it. Just like the moon is connected to the ocean and the tide of it, we are connected. We're made up of water, and we're feeling these things, and everyone around us is feeling these things. And we all, when it comes to our feelings, we all feel things differently, and we all get triggered in a different way. Some people find it difficult to express sadness and rather express anger, right? It's easier in how they feel to deal with things, but that can become very hot and tense. And especially with a supermoon in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, it can become very hot. It can become very irritable, and it can become very emotional very quickly. It can become very charged. That's the energy of it, because fire energy is passionate. Aries too is a fire sign. It's passionate. It's about getting up and going. And sometimes we can say or do the wrong thing without even thinking about it, where impulse takes over without rational thought, the logic behind it. The Gemini sun energy that's telling us use logic, think these things through before we express it, which is so important. Now, that's the harmonious aspect that's happening. And the beautiful thing about Saturn too, it's about long-term plans. That's what it rules. Saturn rules everything we want to do that's long-term, and we are working towards it. So it brings harmony to the sun, the moon. And we need to be aware of our wounds that are also coming to the surface and need to be released. And everyone's going to be going through their wounds coming through. It's all about how you deal with your release of your wounds. And it's important to be aware of how other people deal with that, so that you're aware if someone's going through something. This is not the time to go, take a stick and poke a sleeping bear. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. You don't want to, do that. You need to know if you are going through something, take some time out, breathe, use that time to really clear yourself. Drink some water during this supermoon. That will be very important. Make sure you're resting well. Let the energies integrate within you. Take a moment, right? It's so important. Okay, now the sun in Gemini with the moon in Sagittarius are going to both be squaring Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces will be squaring the sun in Gemini, and as well as the super full moon in Sagittarius. This is a mutable square, and it can become very confusing. You might think you know what you want to say, but then the words just seem to slip your mind. You might feel conflicted, pulled in many directions. Which way do I go? What do I do? You can slip into disillusionment. You can, feel like, I know what I want to do, and I thought I knew what I wanted to do, but now I'm doubting myself, my capabilities. That's the energy of Neptune. It's very dreamy. And because it's a square, it creates tension and conflict within ourselves. And because we are talking about environment and communication, we need to communicate to others. It can create that same disharmony where we feel disillusioned within our environment and disillusioned with what we're saying and what we're hearing and understanding from others. And that Sagittarius energy can make it feel very hot and spicy all of a sudden what we are saying. So it's very important to think about what you want to say, think about what you want to express, take your time. Understand that the influence of Neptune does make us feel that isolation from the people around us, because Gemini is the energy that connects us to people, communicates, it talks, it's a connection energy. And this is where we can feel a bit disconnected with the Neptune part of it. And it can also take away some of that hope that we have. So what do we do? You know, understand that is what we're experiencing. Don't slip into escapism. This is the energy where addiction can also, so if you have any addiction energy within you, and as you suffer from addiction, I should say, this would be the time to, you know, seek help, get understanding on that, or any thoughts of where you're feeling down, depressed, emotional, overly cut off. This will not be the time to feel you want to escape, because the one thing about Neptune, it likes to create unhealthy escapism. We can escape through art, right? You can write your feelings out. That would be great. Write how you feel, draw, do something to get out the energy without, in a creative manner, without being self-destructive, where you're harming yourself. That's the important thing. And if you are feeling that way, it would be very important then to seek help, to call, to speak to people within your area in order to get the help that you need, especially with addiction, because that's the energy of it. It can make us want to feel, you know, get, if you have intoxication or any kind of addiction, overspending, something to make you not feel what you're feeling at the moment. So it's important to take some time out, breathe through it. If you need to seek for help, it's important to do that. Sagittarius is about wisdom. It's about our philosophical mind, and also, you know, speaking to someone that's like a mentor, a teacher, a healer, even therapy, anything like that, where you can express yourself to gain wisdom from the experiences and the emotions that you're feeling. It's very healing for you. This is a very healing full moon. And definitely there are some positive aspects, but it's good to be aware of both the positive and the negative aspects, especially if you have loved ones. We all have loved ones and people we care about, and watch how they're experiencing and expressing themselves too. Awareness is where we can make changes within our lives. That's what the energy of Gemini and Sagittarius are. It's about being aware of what is happening within our environment, and as well as the people around us, so that we can make the changes we want to see. Now, Sagittarius as a whole offers opportunity, growth, wisdom, philosophical understanding. It's also the energy of the mentor, right? Where you decide to become a mentor, or or other people mentor. It's where someone is in the position of sharing information, wisdom, and knowledge with you. So utilize that energy. If you are someone that's feeling that you need some help, this would be the ideal time to ask for that kind of help. It's also the ideal time if you have a calling within you, to answer the calling too. So be gentle with yourself. Notice during this full moon, you can feel tired, you can feel drained. Your legs are important to take care of. Your legs might feel stiff, but heavy, because Sagittarius rules the legs. Also headaches, right? Because of the energy of Sagittarius, it's important, especially with the super moon, drink lots of water, get some rest, write out your feelings, make a plan, right? And take the time to enjoy the journey of life. Thank you so much for watching. Do like and subscribe. My website will be linked down below, as well as a link for appreciation of these videos.